All right, right on, folks. John Crane here in the shop, and I am sitting next to an amazing piece of equipment. This is the Juki LS341 cylinder arm machine, and longtime viewers of the channel know that I do a lot of sewing in my shop, and not just light sewing. I do some real heavy-duty sewing like veg tan leather and canvas, and that's where a machine like this really shines. Now, I got this machine probably about a year ago, and it is a great addition to my sewing machines. But there is one problem with it, and that is this table. And that's the subject of today's video, is I'm gonna build a new table for this sewing machine. Okay, one of the beauties of having a cylinder arm machine is that you can slide stuff over this cylinder. And the problem with this table is that this table extends out under the cylinder arm. You can only slide small items. I want to slide some big bags that I can rotate around. Now, you do see some tables where they have like a horseshoe cut out of the table, but I'm going to go a step further and just make a table that just supports the machine over here and a steel base. I got some parts on the shop. All right, a quick rundown of the parts that I have here for this project, and I tell you, I am stoked to get this project going. This has been a long time in the hopper. I've had these parts here for quite a while, and finally this is getting going. This is one of those stepping stones, you know, so I can get this machine in its full use how I want to use it. So on the table right now, this 2 foot by 4 foot 1/4 inch steel plate. This is going to be the base plate. I got 4 casters. I think I'm probably going to cut off, you know, a couple feet here, and then I'm going to put a caster in each corner. This guy right here is going to be our stand for the table, and our machine's going to sit on top of this. I'm going to have to build another wooden table on top. And then right here, I am also doing a pulley reduction system on this machine. Now, this is going to slow the machine down. It's going to give it a lot more torque. If you know these walking foot machines, they are amazing. And with a little bit more torque, you can get right through that veg tan leather, thick canvas, thick material. It just goes through no problem. Just like I did with my Conso 206 RB. That thing is a workhorse. So right, I got an 8-inch pulley, 2-inch pulley, 5/8 of an inch shaft. I got 2 pillow blocks here with ball bearings, 5/8. Right, we got our casters. And then I got a 1 horsepower servo motor and controller.
All right, it's time to fire up the torch and cut some steel. I cut the base plate to 24 inches by 20 inches. Now I'm rounding off these corners, and I'm going to drill a hole in each corner and tap it with 1/2-13. That is the thread that is on the casters.
All right, I was just about to cut this steel post here. You know, this is going to hold up our table. And I started looking at this thing, and I started thinking about it, and I was like, I don't know. This is starting to look a little bit too sterile looking. What am I, making a hospital food cart? They ready to roll this in with the applesauce and the painkillers? So I am taking this away. I went out into the wood shop, cut myself a nice piece of cedar. Look at this. I think this is going to be so much better looking. A nice combination of wood and steel. I'm liking this look a lot better. Okay, so to make this happen, I pulled out a couple pieces of steel here. I think I'm going to cut this piece in half, and then I'm going to weld one piece here. I'll put some holes in this, and I can bolt this piece of steel to here. I'll make another one for the back, and then same thing for the top of this post. All right, I got these 1/2-inch lag bolts. I'm going to do a little try pattern here. Put 3 on each of these.
I'm using a 1/2-inch annular cutter to drill this hole, and if you don't have a set of these, I definitely recommend it. They are great to have. You can also use these in a mag drill. All right, I'm going to use our piece of wood here as our spacer. It sure does get dark early here in the Pacific Northwest. It's only 5:30 and it's pretty dark out, but I'm not going to let it slow me down. The nighttime is the right time to get some work done. Right now I'm cutting the top of our sewing machine table. This is going to be a steel top for our table. I'm also going to weld some tabs onto this to bolt it to our piece of cedar.
Night I put some finish on our cedar post. Doesn't that look good? I love this color combination of the steel with the wood. I put some Daly's, actually some Daly's floor fin I have laying around, but I usually use Profin, and it is such a nice product. I don't know if you've ever used the Daly's products, but it just comes out absolutely beautiful. This soaked up a lot of oil. Also last night, I cut this piece right before I end it for the night. I got this all sanded up on the edges, the corners around it, and now I'm laying out how this is going to sit on top of our post. So this is going to sit approximately kind of like that. And I'm going to take our sewing machine off right now and put it on here. There's 4 bolts here that hold this down. I had this off at one time when I was transporting it. Pop this off and we'll move this over. Oh, look at that. That's a little oil reservoir. Okay, now I can move this into place. I got the front of our machine 1.5 inches from the front edge, and I want this to go all the way as far as it can so I get the maximum reach. All right, I got the transfer punches. Let's see what size is gonna fit. If you don't have a set of these are super cheap on Amazon. Definitely get a set of transfer punches. This is where they come into play. All right, that's a good fit. Now I'm gonna give this a light tap. You know, you don't gotta beat the devil out of it. You just want a little mark right there. Let's see, this is a little weird spot. Just get a nice line going around this so I know where this lands. All right, here is where a little bit of the puzzle begins. All right, so we got our shaft. Let me see, I'm gonna slide on one of these pillow blocks, if I can get this to slide over the end of this. Yeah, just like that. And then just for now, let's see, I'm gonna slide our 2-inch pulley on, and then another pillow block. Now the goal here is to get this in line with this small pulley. We are going to have our big 8-inch pulley right about here, but we don't have we're going to have to cut a slot on the milling machine. You know, we're going to have to drill a whole bunch of holes to attach all of this stuff. But I got this laid out. This is an 8-inch pulley, so I need a slot somewhere right in here, and kind of depends on tensioning the belt. I got the bin of belts here, and that looks a little too long. All right, let's see this. Yeah, see that? We're not quite on our center line where we need it, but I think that is what I'm going to go with. I'm going to cut some slots in the table so I can push this back and tension this belt, right? And then also we're gonna have a slot cut for this. And then our motor, see, this is the whole puzzle, right? We gotta mount this on the bottom side of the table. Here's our post right here. There's a lot of little things to avoid, but I'm gonna do some layout. All right, I just sharpened up the Randy Richards scribe tool, and now I'm gonna etch these lines so I can see them on the milling machine. Ooh, that's nice and sharp now. All right, we're over at the Bridgeport Mill, and I'm just getting this plate set up. And to get this plate aligned so our slots are straight, what I'm doing is I'm actually running the back of the plate into our dovetail back here. And just by pushing that right up against that, that is a nice way to quickly square up the plate on the surface. Now I can tighten these guys down a little bit. All right, first up, I got an 1.5" annular cutter. I'm gonna cut through on either end and then hog it out with a milling bit.
Now on this cut, I knew I was going to get a little vibration because I only have this clamped out on the edges. And as I lift this cutter out, you can see the harmonic vibration of the cut there, the wavy pattern left in the hole. Now this is where I make steel scrubbers for my pots and pans in the kitchen. No, just kidding. But you can see these really make a bird's nest quick. You can see that cut is a lot smoother because it's clamped right there at the edge. All right, now I got the annular cutter going again just to drill the holes on the ends of these slots, and then I'm going to come in with this roughing end mill, which is dull as baloney, and I should have put it in the trash before this job, but it pushed through for one more job. You can see the color of the blue chips is a little too hot. It did go in the trash after this. Now I'm drilling the 4 holes where the sewing machine will be mounted. I'm keeping track of the X and Y coordinates on the DRO so I can come back and tap those holes.
Okay, I'm tapping these holes out to a 1/4-28. That's a nice kind of fine thread, anti-vibration, won't shake free type of thread. So that's why I'm putting it in instead of the 1/4-20. So I just drilled this with the number 3. And now I'm going to switch and do some power tapping. I'm going to slow the Bridgeport down. We're going to put it into back gear. Go in reverse, and I'm going to drop this down to the lowest speed. Okay, as far as power tapping this, I got my hand on the switch. Got it in low gear. I'm going to turn it on. Tapping fluid. I only have 1 inch of clearance underneath, so I got to watch that I don't go too far with the tap. I'm going to lower down our quill. I got my hand on the switch. I'm watching underneath to make sure I don't go too far. Now I'm going to stop it, go in reverse, and back it out.
I need more Novocaine. All right, now with these slots all cut, now we can put our 8-inch wheel on and our 2-inch. Slide on our other pillow block. Let's see. Yeah, just like that. Awesome. All right, I threw the machine up here on the plate. I didn't put the bolts in, right? I don't have any 1/4 28 right on hand right now. I got to get those tomorrow. So it's just hopefully just sitting there gently. But now I put a couple bolts in here. I got this lined up and I want to get the location of the motor. So I'm going to hold. All right, we're going to hook this into our belt. Okay, now with the long nose Pika marker. Okay, let's see if that worked. We can pull this stuff back off and I can take the machine off. Set a little mark. Okay, back here on the bridge part. All right, I came over here to put this on and I realized I screwed up a little bit. As far as this motor positioning, I have to scoot this almost about 1 inch or so, which still works out, I guess. You know, to get this here and then to get this plate welded on here and get the bolts to go through, I had to scoot this. So this front is not going to line up with this front when it's all together, but I think I'm good with that. So move forward. And now I'm going to go out and I'm going to weld these on. It's getting late here at night. I want to get a coat of finish on all this so I can assemble this tomorrow. Okay, I'm giving everything a good wipe down with some mineral spirits just to clean the steel. I'm going to put a clear coat on this. All right, I'm over in the sewing room where I got some heat going in here, and I'm going to put some Profin on. Look at this old can of Profin I found here. Profin Gloss 2014. It's probably when this stuff was going for like 30 bucks a gallon. Now all of a sudden it's like 125 a gallon. I don't know what happened to the price on it, but everything is just crazy expensive, right? But anyway, Profin is it's a great coating for metal. You know, it's mostly used for wood. That's where I've used it most of the time, but it puts a really nice look on steel. So I'm just gonna dip in. I got a nice lint-free rag. This is like a bed sheet. And I'm just gonna wipe this down. I'm gonna put a few coats on this. Let this dry for a few hours, and then I'll come back and I'll put another coat on. And I think this is gonna look really nice. All right, 2 coats of Profin on our steel. This is looking good. Nice and dry. It's the next morning here. I know I got a few scratches right here. At first I wasn't planning on doing the clear coat. I was just planning on painting this. All right, now we're gonna drop in our post. You know, another nice finish that I really like is that Insta Black 333. Put that on here, clean this with some alcohol, run that Insta Black. Boy, it gives it a really nice black color. And then sometimes I either clear coat it or wax it afterwards. But right now we're going with the Profin, and I really like this look as well. All right, time to put some lag bolts in. I think at a later time, I'll pull these lag bolts out, and I want to hammer these into a square shape. That's a really nice look for this kind of thing. These are kind of stick out a little bit. I might paint the heads black. We'll see. All right, 1/2 inch bolts.
with a 1/4-inch pre-drill. Nice. Now we can put our top on here. All right, look at that. That looks awesome. It's cool to see it come together. All right, that is looking really nice. All right, I am really loving the look of this with the wood and the steel. You just don't know where the creative process is going to take you. And I don't know if you guys have ever gotten into green and green architecture. Charles and Henry Green, just amazing stuff. The Gamble House down in Pasadena, the Blacker House, just amazing architectural works. They did a lot of wood and steel. And I was good friends with a guy, Randall Mackinson, and he wrote quite a few books on the subject, and just amazing works that these guys have put together. I definitely recommend going down that rabbit hole if you like this kind of thing. Arts and crafts, craftsman style, you know, blacksmithing, woodwork. It is just a festival for the mind for woodworking. These guys did all this stuff by hand. You know, they had some table saws, steam generated power that they were using to cut the wood back then, but just amazing works of art.
And while we're at it, I'll show you a few pictures here of an entrance I did for a customer some years ago based on my love of green and green. I just really love working with the steel and the wood. This is one of my favorite jobs.
Oh man, this is one heavy machine. Wow. That's heavy to lift up that high. Talk about a nice solid connection to the table here. This sewing machine screwed right down to a steel plate. Here, I just want to get a distance on this metal rod so I can cut this rod down to length. I got a piece of stainless that I'm using. Last time I did this on the console, I didn't use stainless and some rust started to appear on it. I think I gotta put this belt on. Gotta put all these things together at once. I dropped this screw into here for the motor. Okay, and now I can drop these bolts in. Make sure these are all loose. All right, yeah, put a little tension in our belt and tighten these up. All right, we'll tighten up our motor mounts. I got the nylock nuts on here so these won't vibrate loose. Okay, now I can lock down our set screws here on our pillow blocks. Yeah, there we go. All right, and now I can tension our motor down on this one. I just put a couple holes here to mount our controller, and now I got to tap it with 1/4-20. I just drilled that with a number 7. There we go. All right, now we'll mount our controller right on the underside here. This is all coming out so nice. All right, I've been sitting here crunching some of the details on some foot pedals here and just thinking about working on this. And I tell you, it's these kinds of projects that really fuel me. And this is what brings me into the shop, is this creative workflow. We're in here building a mechanical deal, but we're also adding some artistic touches, some personalization. We added this great piece of Mother Nature here, this piece of cedar, and this whole thing is just coming alive. And I tell you, this is what really fuels me about coming into the shop, and it gets exhilarating. It feels so good working in here creating, you know, sometimes you're working for somebody, you're in a shop, they have designers, you're just going through the motions in the shop like a factory worker putting things together. You know, sometimes you're able to add your artistic touch to that, but this is a whole different ball game when you're the creator and the builder. It's just so much fun. So I commend it to you to go into your shop and build something and get a taste of that energy. It is really exhilarating. All right, so I'm hammering out the details here. I'm making some foot pedals. I got to go cut some steel plate. What we got here is one foot pedal is going to control our motor. We got this actuator here for the motor. One foot pedal is going to pull down on this. And then another foot pedal is going to pull down on a cable. And that is our lifter foot. That will lift up the foot on the sewing machine. So I'm going to go over to the All right, we got the steel cutting on the well saw over here, and then meanwhile over here at the mighty LeBlanc lathe, I'm drilling out this piece of steel. This will kind of be our bushings. It's going to guide our foot pedals. So I just drilled that out with a 1/2-inch drill bit. Now I'm switching here to right under 3/4, 25, 30 seconds, or right over 3/4, I should say, 25, 30 seconds. And we're going to bore out this steel here. I got the Morse taper sleeves doubled up, trying to give you guys the best view here of what's going on. And we're just going to feed this in. Stopping the feed every so often so the chips aren't so long. Just breaking the chip every so often. Making sure we got lots of oil on the drill bit, keeping it well lubricated. Feed in here again. We're going to hollow out this whole piece of steel here. Sometimes to make these deep bores, we're sliding the whole tailstock in, pushing this forward until it touches, lock it down, and then start feeding. All right, now we got our parting tool set up in the lathe. I'm going to cut off a piece here that is 5 inches. And I'm just moving this drill bit in, not to drill, but to catch the piece as it falls off. I'm gonna get some good lube on here. We're gonna feed our cross feed right in here. Taking a nice roll on our parting tool. Making sure to get lots of lube down in there. There we go. I thought we had drilled all the way through this piece, but I guess I was about a 1/2 inch shy. So I'm boring this out on the other side so we get nice alignment. Not too critical on this part, but there we go. Nice. Okay, I'm just starting to assemble our foot pedal system. And what I got is I just put a 3/4 inch stop collar on the end of this 3/4 inch rod. And now I'm going to slide on a bronze bushing. And then here's our pieces that we made on the lathe. I'm going to slide this over. And then, let's see, one more of these. And then this is where our pedal is going to go right here. I got a line on the center. I'm going to have to weld this to this rod. But then this gets another bushing washer, and then this gets our 1-inch sleeve, another bushing, and then we get this 5-inch sleeve, another bronze bushing. If I can slide it over the end. There we go. And then we got this, and then another bronze bushing, and then here's one of our foot lever control deals that will get welded to the end. So we got one pedal, it's going to get welded to this, and then another pedal gets welded to this sleeve right here. Oh, that's right. And then underneath all these, it gets these little stands, and then this is going to screw this whole assembly down to our base plate. So I'm going to weld these to our sleeves. All right, so here, this is going to be our lifter foot, presser foot, and then this is going to be our motor control. Okay, looking at this closer, I just realized I can't weld this on. I'm going to have to drill and tap this and put a set screw onto this to hold this arm straight. To assemble our parts, and then we're gonna drill and tap our main plate. So, right, what do we have here? We had a washer, and I am gonna put some grease inside these. All right, we got this guy. I want this to be at the same angle as our control plate. And I can always come back and make some adjustments on this. Okay. All right, now I'm drilling a couple holes up top for our motor controller, and I used a laser to get a line up to here to get our linkage nice and straight. Now I'm gonna drill out our holes. There's one. There's number 2. Yeah, that's looking great. All right, hopefully our linkage here is going to be long enough. Boy, it's just a little bit shy. Okay, that linkage was a little bit short, so I had to go and weld on a little extension onto our piece. And I think this should work really nice now.
Okay, there we go. Yeah, that is more like it. I want to tighten up this linkage so this foot is up just a little bit so I can do the needle up, needle down positioning. And let's see. Yeah, just like that. Yeah. See, that gives some up pressure. And that's nice for our foot control. That's great. Yeah, up. Cool. Yeah, this thing right here. All right, I'm just trying to angle this tube without kinking this, without breaking it. All right, now I'm drilling a hole right here in the table, and that's for this tube. And I'm going to screw this into here and have a cable come from here through this tube, drop down, and this is our presser foot. Almost. Oh, there we go. Okay, and I threaded this earlier, 5/16, 18. Okay, the back corner of our presser foot lifter pedal, I guess that's what it's called. I just drilled and tapped that for 1/4 20, and the cable that I'm using is, for cable rail from a deck. And I'll put another nut here on the bottom to lock it. All right, now we can pass our cable up through our pipe. All right, now I'm gonna cut the cable here. Okay, now I'm gonna cut the cable with a torch. I'm using the cordless drill. Okay, and I'm gonna heat the cable until it's nice and red hot. Nice. Now we can easily slide our connector right over the top. That's a nice way to do it with the torch. Okay, with that right there, now I'm gonna crimp it. Yeah, I'm crimping it with wire cutters, but actually works pretty good. All right, it's time to get some wheels on our base here. Look at those nice orange wheels. I was really surprised that these were 1/2-inch thread. It wasn't some metric deal, considering I got these off of Amazon. All right, look at this setup. This is awesome. I just drilled a hole here in the back, and I put our thread stand on the back, and I threaded the machine, so we're ready to roll. So let's plug it in and see what we got. All right, let's turn it on. Oh, 4,200. Let's reduce that speed. All right, we'll go 500. That's the slowest this goes. All right, let's step on the gas. Remember, we got the pulley reduction system set up, so this is going a lot slower, and it's gonna have a lot more torque. Yeah, look at that. Let's put some let's put something in here. All right, I got a thick piece of fire hose. All right, let's test out our presser foot lifter. No problem, working good. All right, we'll drop down. See how slow? Look how slow. I can just feather this, go half a step even. Look at that. So nice. That's set at 500, so I can increase that speed up to 4,200. And this is, look, it's just going through this like no problem. This is gonna go right through the veg tan leather. All right, let's increase the speed a little bit. All right, now we're up at 4,200. All right, let's go back down. 500. Yeah, this is great for stitching really precise leather items. Awesome. I am so excited to have this machine up and rolling like this. Let's do some reverse stitching. Amazing. I still have to install the needle positioner. Actually, I have to order one of those. All right, let's see how it rolls. Really nice, really smooth. All right, look at that. The Juki LS341 has got a new home. I am so excited, right? 4 days ago, it was living on that old hospital gurney over there. Now it's got a stylish new home, a new life, and I'm going to be doing lots of sewing with this. I got a lot of projects lined up. The reason I put this all together is because I'm making a bunch of bags, making those DOP kits again, some of the firewood carriers, and I'm working on the tool bags that are coming out soon. So I'm going to have those all up for sale. And so building a new table translates into making lots of cool things to share with you guys, loved ones, family, friends. So I am excited to do some creating on this, right? Create this, and now I can create more things with it. Really cool. All right, hope you guys enjoyed this journey here, building the table. You know, there's actually a few more things to do here. I got to put the needle position sensor on here, and I'm even thinking maybe I'm gonna paint this. I don't know about this color. It's looking a little rough. Maybe a nice black color. Maybe you guys have a suggestion. Leave it in the comments. What color do you think I should paint this? I'm kind of leaning towards black. All right, hope you guys are doing great, and I'll see y'all soon. Please like, subscribe, the whole 9 yards. I got product links in the description, Amazon product links, and then also other links that are showing up under my videos now. So check that out, because a lot of you guys sometimes ask what tools I'm using, that kind of thing in the video. I'm putting those product links up. So check those out if you want to use any of the tools that I'm using in the videos. All right, getting long-winded here. Hope you guys are doing great. I'll see y'all soon. Right on.